Have you ever wondered about the history of the Chevy Corvette? When it comes to American cars, the Chevrolet Corvette is as iconic as apple pie, baseball, and Bruce Springsteen. It's a fiberglass beast that's roared through the decades, igniting passion in drivers and envy in everyone else. But the Corvette didn't just materialize out of nowhere. Its evolution is a high-speed journey full of twists, turns, and a few bumps along the way. So, grab a seat and, well, maybe a helmet, because the tale of the Corvette is about to unfold in all its fiberglass glory. I'm Keith, and this is History Wonder. The story of the Corvette starts with a man named Harley Earl, Corvette's legendary designer and the father of American automotive style. Earl had a vision, an American sports car that could stand toe-to-toe with the nimble European models that had been stealing the show post-World War II. He wanted something small, sleek, and quick, but uniquely American. Thus, in 1953, Chevy rolled out the first Corvette, a low-slung two-seater convertible with a body made of fiberglass. The Corvette C1, however, didn't exactly scream performance. It came with a 6-cylinder engine, a whopping 150 horsepower, and an automatic transmission. The only available color was polo white with a red interior. Frankly, it looked a bit more like a glamorous beach cruiser than a high-performance sports car. The public response was lukewarm at best. Critics weren't impressed with the Corvette's speed or power, and car buyers weren't exactly lining up to buy one. Chevrolet built just 300 of these first Corvettes, and they were mostly used as showroom eye candy. But Chevy wasn't ready to throw in the towel. They had a feeling that with a few tweaks, the Corvette could go from beachside eye candy to a bona fide road beast. Chevrolet quickly realized that America's sports car couldn't compete without more power. In 1955, they made a crucial upgrade that would change the Corvette's trajectory forever. They dropped in a V8 engine. This little powerhouse provided the Corvette with 195 horsepower, and the performance leap was instantly noticeable. The Corvette was no longer just a pretty face, it had muscle to back it up. To go along with the newfound power, the C1 Corvette got a stylish refresh in 1956 that made it look more aggressive and polished. Gone were the round cutesy headlights, replaced with a pair of pointed mean-looking lamps. By 1957, Corvette offered a fuel-injected engine, which was an impressive move for its time and gave the Corvette some serious bragging rights. By the time the C1 series ended in 1962, the Corvette had cemented its status as an American icon. With its sleek lines, chrome accents, and powerful engines, it was a car that didn't just look good parked, it looked like it was daring you to take it for a spin. If the C1 was the Corvette's warm-up, the C2 was its performance. In 1963, Corvette introduced the Corvette Stingray, a name that instantly drips with cool. The C2 Corvette is often considered one of the most beautiful cars ever made, and it's easy to see why. The sharp, angular lines, the split rear window, and the pop-up headlights made it look like something out of a spy movie. This was the car James Bond would drive if he were born in Texas. Under the hood, things got serious. The C2 offered multiple engine options, including a high-performance 327 V8 that turned the Corvette into a legitimate speed machine. Drivers could push the Stingray to new limits, and handling was improved too, thanks to a new independent rear suspension. The Corvette could finally turn corners like a sports car, not a tractor. The C2 was an instant hit. It was a car that you could take to a racetrack, a drive-in, or even a car show, and people would swoon. Its iconic design and roaring V8 made it the epitome of mid-century American cool. By the end of the C2 era in 1967, the Corvette had transformed from a plunky upstart to a bona fide rock star in the car world. The 1970s were a time of great change for the Corvette, and, frankly, for America in general. With the debut of the C3 Corvette in 1968, Corvette rolled out a car that was longer, lower, and had curves in all the right places. The C3 looked like it had been sculpted out of hot lava and was ready to burn rubber. The styling was inspired by the Mako Shark 2 concept car, and it brought back the Stingray name, now written as one word. However, as the 70s rolled on, the Corvette faced an uphill battle. The oil crisis of 1973 hit the automotive world hard. With gasoline prices skyrocketing, Corvette had to reduce engine power to improve fuel economy, and that wasn't exactly what Corvette fans were looking for. By the late 70s, the once mighty Corvette was producing as little as 165 horsepower, barely enough to give the driver a thrill. But despite the weakened engines, the Corvette styling kept it popular. This was the decade of disco, after all, and the Corvette's sleek curves and flashy design made it a car that looked great cruising through the neon lights. Even if it wasn't the fastest car on the road, the C3 Corvette was still an object of desire. By the time the 1980s rolled around, Chevrolet knew it was time to get serious again. The Corvette C4, introduced in 1984, was a radical departure from its predecessors. Gone were the swooping curves of the C3. The C4 was all sharp angles and low aerodynamic lines. Underneath this edgy exterior, the C4 brought significant engineering improvements that helped the Corvette reclaim its performance edge. The C4 Corvette featured a 5.7-liter V8 engine with power ratings that eventually climbed above 300 horsepower. But the real star of the C4 era was the Corvette ZR1, introduced in 1990. Dubbed the King of the Hill, the ZR1 was a high-performance variant that packed a 375 horsepower LT5 V8 engine and could reach speeds over 180 miles per hour. For Corvette fans, the ZR1 was like Christmas morning, a revival of the muscle that made the Corvette famous. The C4 made the Corvette relevant again, but it wasn't perfect. The ride could be a bit harsh, and the car's handling, while improved, was still a work in progress. But one thing was clear, the Corvette was back and it meant business. The Corvette's fifth generation, known as the C5, arrived in 1997 and was the result of years of careful planning and engineering. For once, Corvette didn't just slap a new body on an old platform, they built a whole new car from the ground up. The C5 was sleeker, more aerodynamic, and much more comfortable to drive. At the heart of the C5 was the LS1 V8 engine, producing 345 horsepower. This engine was lighter and more efficient, giving the Corvette the muscle it needed without sacrificing reliability. The car's handling was greatly improved as well, thanks to a rear-mounted transmission and a new aluminum frame that kept weight down. The C5 also introduced the Z06 model in 2001, a lightweight, high-performance version with 385 horsepower. That was later bumped to 405. The Z06 could go toe-to-toe with European sports cars, costing twice as much, and it solidified the Corvette's status as a genuine performance car on the global stage. The Corvette wasn't about to rest on its laurels. The C6 Corvette, introduced in 2005, brought even more power and refinement. The C6 was a bit shorter and supported an improved suspension, making it more nimble than its predecessor. The standard C6 boasted 400 ponies, but it was the Z06 and the ZR1 models that really got people talking. The C6 Z06 with its 7.0-liter V8 with 505 horsepower was a beast. But the true king of the C6 era? That was the ZR1, which debuted in 2009 with a supercharged 6.2-liter V8 producing 638 whopping horsepower. The ZR1 could reach speeds over 200 miles per hour and was as close to a supercar as Chevy had ever built. The C7 Corvette continued the tradition of pushing boundaries. With a redesigned exterior and interior, the C7 looked and felt more premium than ever. It featured the LT1 V8 engine delivering 455 horsepower and introduced modern tech like heads-up display and advanced traction control. Finally, in 2020, Chevrolet unveiled the C8, a mid-engine Corvette that changed the game. With the engine behind the driver, the C8 offered near supercar performance and handling. The LT2 V8 with 495 horsepower could take on cars twice its price. America's sports car had gone through decades of evolution from a humble roadster to a true performance icon. The Corvette's journey is a testament to American ingenuity, persistence, and the love of a good thrill. From an underpowered experiment to a mid-engine powerhouse, the Corvette has sped through history. leaving a trail of burnt rubber and broken records in its wake. Here's to the Corvette, an American icon that shows no signs of slowing down. Thanks for watching. What topics in history have you wondered about? Comment below and let us know what videos you would like to see. And be sure to like and subscribe.